All right, so this is a story that I don't really have that much to talk about, and you'll see why in a minute. But basically, Caitlyn Jenner, obviously most known for her involvement, I guess, with the Kardashian family and the TV shows that they've done, as well as obviously being an Olympic athlete and winning the decathlon, I think it was. But she has announced that she is going to be trying to replace Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, in this sort of recall effort. So I'm going to read you about the recall effort itself, and then we're going to talk about Caitlyn Jenner and her campaign that she's running. So here's what the situation is with the recall effort. So they say, if the recall effort gathers enough signatures to trigger an election, as Gavin Newsom says that he expects it will, Californians will be asked to cast 2 votes, whether to remove the governor and to choose a replacement from a list of candidates. There have been several gubernatorial recall efforts in recent years, but only one reached the signature threshold. In 2003, Democratic Governor Gray Davis was recalled, and Arnold Schwarzenegger replaced him. So there is actually a precedent here, I guess, of public stars and figures running these sort of recall efforts and actually winning. But listen, if I'm going to be honest, I don't think that she has a legitimate chance of winning this. I don't think she has a good chance of beating Gavin Newsom in this effort. But let me also say this. Gavin Newsom is not somebody that I support by any stretch of the imagination. Gavin Newsom is basically every elitist, corrupt liberal that I rail against all the time. So I'm not a big fan of him, but do I think that he would be better than Caitlyn Jenner? Yes, and let me explain to you why. Here's Caitlyn Jenner's website, apparently, unless it's going to give me a 404 here, but here's Caitlyn Jenner's website. So Caitlyn for California, she says, I'm in. California has been my home for nearly 50 years. I came here because I knew that anyone, regardless of their background or situation in life, could turn their dreams into reality. But for the past decade, we have seen the glimmer of the Golden State reduced by one-party rule that places politics over progress and special interests over people. Sacramento needs an honest leader with a clear vision. So my first question upon reading this was, what is that clear vision that you have? And if you go and look through her website here, all there is the ability to put in your information, the ability to donate, and then there's a shop button. And the shop button, let's go check out what's on the store here. So, it's literally just products that you can buy to slap a logo or put up a sign in your yard or wear a mask with it on. This is it. This is the entire website. So when I said I didn't really have much to talk about on this is why. Because she's announced her run to replace Gavin Newsom, and she's, thrown out some criticisms of Gavin Newsom, which you could argue are fair in some cases. But then she doesn't have literally any platform at all that she's running on. She has no policies listed on her website whatsoever. She has no information about what even her ideology is. The only thing that I've been able to get from this is this from this, I guess, is an NPR article. She says, small businesses have been devastated because of the over-restrictive lockdown. An entire generation of children have lost a year of education and have prevented from going back to school, participating in activities, or socializing with their friends. So this is the only real policy thing that I've seen in combination with this other one. So you have anti-lockdown stuff here, and then you have this. Banning fracking only increases our dependence on foreign oil, jeopardizes good-paying jobs, and generates less state and local tax revenue to fund our schools, healthcare, and firefighters. Tell Gavin we need less pandering to big tech donors, whatever the fuck that means. And this was in response to Governor Gavin Newsom apparently announcing plans on Friday to ban fracking by 2024, which I don't even think that goes far enough. I think he should already not be giving out fracking permits as he has. But she's coming out basically, the only 2 policy positions I've been able to actually find of hers have been pro-fracking and anti-lockdown. And listen, I get it. I get why there's frustration in California over the lockdowns and the way that they've handled it. I think there are fair criticisms to level at Gavin Newsom and how he handled the whole lockdown situation. He did do it in a pretty corrupt way, and there were instances where small businesses or restaurants were forced to close down for a period of time while you had these giant Hollywood productions and a bunch of other wealthier businesses that were allowed to operate and sort of break the rules. So there is a criticism there of the corruption of the lockdowns and the procedures behind that, but I don't think that's the angle that she's coming at this from. I think she's just coming at this from more of a reactionary point of view of just saying, well, let's just open everything up. And then the fracking. what the fuck? This is ridiculous. We don't need to be fracking now. This is incredibly environmentally damaging. The jobs are tiny. It's not a massive economic consequence to banning fracking as a whole. It's something that we just should do. And, for this to be one of the main policy positions you come out defending is just, it's embarrassing. But that gets down to basically what she's going to be representing. So she's described herself as a socially liberal, fiscally conservative person. So this is one of the most annoying ways I ever hear anybody describe themselves in politics, because what it basically says to me is you don't really care about the substantive policy issues at all. You're just willing to virtue signal on some social issues. And by the way, I don't even think that, even though she's a trans woman, I don't even think that she's necessarily progressive on the social issues. And there's a reason why a lot of these LGBT groups and trans groups have not supported this candidacy so far and have actually come out against her running. And that's because she can't back it up on the policy. So when you say you're socially liberal, I don't really know what you mean. Like, okay, you're in favor of gay marriage or something, I guess, maybe. But even that I'm not sure on. So I don't know what she means by socially liberal. She's very aggressively anti-cancel culture and stuff. And on the fiscal conservative side of this, I mean, all the problems that you just pointed out here with Gavin Newsom, his corruption, and the handling of all of these lockdown measures and stuff, the criticisms of Gavin Newsom are that he's too corrupt, are that he's too far right. Those are the actual substantive criticisms of him. But she's not coming at it from this angle. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think she has a legitimate chance of actually winning this race. I find it hard to believe that she's going to gather enough support to do it. But I mean, again, I don't have much to say about this because there's no policy, there's no substance, and it looks like it's just another example of a celebrity trying to inject their name in this. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is much more of a publicity stunt for her to gather more attention for some future TV show or something, that it is a serious attempt to actually run the state of California in a serious way. But again, I'm not a big fan of Gavin Newsom, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.